Hello, I'm Jon Binnie, your spiritual psychic mentor here in Scotland, and I'm here to you today with predictions for the next 3 months, including 3-Eye Atlas. Many of you have been asking in the comments and in your questions, so I'll be asking about that as well as picking up on some of your topical questions you've been posting on my website. Please do take a look at the pinned comment in this video and the description, top of the description, you'll see where to put in your own questions. Okay, as always, let's get started with a safe space because I will be channeling in beings from around the universe, and let's do it safely, cleanly, and ethically. So if you'd like to join me, we'll begin taking in a deep breath through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out what no longer serves, our highest good, nice and loud. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any fear, shame, anxiety, or pain, nice and loud. And breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any remaining low vibration energy or emotion, nice and loud. And from the center of your heart, from your golden divine spark, extend a cord of light through the top of your head, into the sky, and up through the stars to the highest frequency you can imagine, and there connecting to the highest dimension of source. Remain connected into the source of love of this universe, and extend your light cord down to the stars, sky, back down to the top of your head and into your heart once more. And now this time from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light down through the root of your spine and deep into the earth, all the way down through the layers of the planet until you reach the very core of Mother Earth. And there, connecting your light cord into Mother Gaia's crystalline heart. Remain connected to Gaia's heart and extend your light cord back up through the layers of the planet, up through the root of your spine and into your heart once more. And now this time from the center of your heart, expand out your golden bubble of protective light, using your own light, the light of Source above and Mother Gaia below, and surround yourself in a golden bubble of protective light. And set the intention for this boundary about 2 meters out from the center of your heart, that only energies and entities with your permission, your highest good love and compassion can see you, access you, or exist within this space or within you. All other energies and entities must leave immediately. Into the safe space, invite in your guides, your higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia. And now through space and time, I create a golden protective bubble around all of us who choose to engage with today's video, with the intention that only energies and entities with my permission and the highest good, love and compassion of all can see us, access us, or exist within this session space or within us. All other energies and entities must leave us immediately. I invite in my spirit guides, my higher self. I invite in Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. I invite in Source and Gaia, the Sun, Sol, and the Moon, Luna. And to set the intention today to support messages about 3-Eye Atlas, and also messages for predictions over the rest of this month, for the next 3 months, and to support your questions and answers. Okay, well, let's get started. First of all, thank you for all your kind love and support. I'm feeling a lot better. I don't know if you can feel it, my energy. My energy just feels incredible today. I still have a tickly throat that I'm healing through. So please bear with me as it sometimes catches me as I'm talking. I have the rest of the morning off and a pretty easy day today. So, and then 3 days off after that. So please do know that I'm trying my best to lead by example and take better care of myself. Thank you. Okay, first some water. So first of all, 3-Eye Atlas. So this is an interstellar object, and it is traveling. It's been traveling into our solar system. And there's lots of really interesting observations, unusual observations and activities about it. If you want the more traditional, including a good spiritual view of 3i Atlas, then please do check out Stephen Burns's channel. I try not to consume too much information from traditional media sources and even other YouTubers on topics that I channel and predict, because it helps clear my mind. Literally, I have a web page in front of me that just has the name 3i Atlas and some of the headlines. I'm not really reading those, but there's definitely a mix of controversial views about it. And I'd love to ask some questions. And one really striking thing is when I first started this predictions series of videos, there was a prediction that these interstellar objects are ships, and that we would learn more as they come in. So I have already been receiving a lot more information about 3i Atlas in particular, and it's really exciting to share some of this with you. Before I dive into what I've been receiving personally, I'd like to open up this question of what is 3i Atlas and what is its purpose coming into our solar system at this time, and coming quite near Earth, especially through December. So let's ask, just opening up to the beautiful beings that I've invited into today's session. Okay, interestingly, so the first guide that's come forwards is Marita. She's a Mantis guide. She's part of the Galactic Federation. And she's also asking me to connect in with Athena. So Athena is the Galactic Federation ship for which I'd have the most exposure to. I have others, including her shortened name is Celeste, and other Galactic Federation ships. The Athena is the most dominant in my experiences. And so Marita is immediately talking to Athena, as Athena is a very large ship, and I have seen Athena with these two naked eyes here over Scotland, and it was around coming up for 5 years ago. 5 moons in length. I even wrote a song about it called "Ship in the Sky," with a lot of lyrics describing it. It was about 5:26 a.m. On my morning run, completely jet black skies, and this beautiful, huge ship, just giant, gradually made its way across the sky. And some of the imagery, I feel some of this is AI imagery that's being used to illustrate what 3i Atlas could look like, is very similar to what I witnessed. So Marita, please do also bring in Athena. So to explain, Athena is also a living conscious ship. So we, in our human labels at the moment, would call it artificial intelligence. However, Athena, there's nothing artificial about her. She has a soul and is also a biological technology as a ship. So the first thing is, my spirit guide Marita is explaining that there's great purpose in 3i Atlas. First of all, if you're watching this video, and not everyone's watching Jon Binnie videos yet, right? And there's a frequency match that's attracting you to watching this video at this time. It may even be at some time in the future. We're at the 4th of September right now. It may be at some point in the future. There's something about the vibrational match between you and I, my energy at this time, and you, that's attracting you to this video. And the reason I say this is because what's very important to understand is the perception of what 3i Atlas is dramatically shifts depending on your vibration. Now, this is true for everything in the universe. More specifically with 3i Atlas, my spirit guide, Marita, is showing that there is a form of technology that 3i Atlas uses and other ships, such as Galactic Federation ships, that shift their vibration. The technology shifts the vibration of what is physically manifested to that of the observer. So imagine quite simply, and I wish I had more props here at my disposal. So imagine that you're a very low vibration, and your mind is closed, and that your crown chakra is quite closed and tight together, and your heart is closed and tight together, and in fear. Then you will be at very least more likely to see 3i Atlas as a rock. So a large rock making its way through the universe. And yes, there may be some unusual gases, and I think there was reports recently of metallics detected, and more. There's a lot of mystery around the object. This is the kind of baseline, right? So if you're experiencing that, there's no judgment here. There's no right or wrong. There's no higher vibrations are not better than lower vibrations. They just are, right? We're just all at different frequencies and vibrations. So Marita's explaining that for those of us in a lower density, a lower vibration, which is those that are less happy than someone in a higher vibration. So you might be more in a kind of neutral or sad or in fear state, or even the lowest vibration emotion is shame. And these states will make you perceive this object in this way. And another way of describing this is timelines. Some people see this separation in observation and experience as being different timelines. So you could say, well, a low vibration timeline gives you a much denser and traditional experience of what 3i Atlas is. And then as we come up into our vibration, so this is you and I's vibration right now, you, watching me, and my dog Patch behind me, who you might hear groaning sometimes. He's right next to a heater and keeping very cozy. The feeling is that you're going to be much more likely to see something, to experience something, and this includes the reports of especially matching content like this. Our algorithms our algorithms are learning how to frequency match content. It's not what their creators intended, but frequency match content sells better, right? And that's what YouTube algorithms are designed for, ultimately, is selling advertising. And so the more people, if you ever wonder why channels like mine started so small and were so small for so long, is because there's not that many people at your vibration. And so the algorithms are like, well, not right now. But the more people that, meet us, as we meet each other, more people at the same vibration, the algorithms are also learning this. They're learning, people that watch this other content of similar vibrations also watch content like Jon Binnie. And Marita's saying that so we are more likely to experience 3i Atlas as a ship. And the reason that we were introduced to Athena as a biological technology is that so is 3i Atlas. So there are biological, including some rock aspects to the ship. It is a very ancient ship, she's saying, and a lot of these ships some of them are just decommissioned, and they're just kind of left to wander the universe. It's a little bit like they've had their own kind of decommissioning service, where there's whoever's been aboard them they've decided to bring to an end the end of the life, or an end of use for the ship. However, the ship is still alive and it's still sentient, and it kind of goes into like a standby mode, into a kind of form of stasis. So there's a lot of these beings that are creating these ships do not just blow them up. They don't just smash them up and destroy them. They set them free. And it reminds me of a Viking funeral where they'd often leave the ship. Okay, they would set the ship on fire, right? But they would put the body in a ship and set it free. So it's that part, but without the fire, and then just leave the ship to wander through space. There are some basic navigation systems, which is why you've seen some movement. Sometimes these ships, like through Atlas, can become re-inhabited by other beings, a bit like squatters or temporary settlers that will, because they're huge, they're massive. They'll take refuge on them. And it's lovely. Marita is explaining that 3i Atlas is kind of like a giant whale. There's this lovely, whenever you see a photo of a flying whale, these beautiful, fantasy art illustrations, there's this feeling of 3i Atlas floating very gently and gracefully in the sky, and yet very giant. And if you're of a if you're of a higher vibration than me right now, how could that be possible? Is that Marita's explaining that you may even see these higher vibration versions which are actually active, that you will glimpse the lights and being still aboard there, because she's explaining all of what we've been explaining so far is third and fourth dimension. There is a fifth dimensional aspect. So up into the higher aspects of the fifth dimensional aspects of 3i Atlas. So you can imagine a bit like three timelines. There's a low vibration timeline of rock, a kind of a 3-4D timeline, which is much more of a biological ship that's in stasis. And then a fifth dimensional aspect, which is actually there's activity. There are living beings aboard. And she says the purpose behind 3i Atlas is because loads of ships, including the one I saw with my own eyes, these ships can jump in and out through space and time. A bit like in Star Wars, what was it called? Hyperspace or something? Hyperspace. And is it like warp speed? Or different Star Trek. Think of all the different franchise, all these different ways they would jump through space and time. So what I've shown is for 3i Atlas is that it has had that capability to kind of quantum jump or shift through different vibrations. Often these ships will shift up into the fourth dimension and travel at speed and then come back down into the third dimension. And what Marita's explaining is that 3i Atlas is much more of a ship that's coming into our space, because really what we've been asking for, so many of us have been asking on Earth for something big, like big contact. And there's two kind of physical aspects to objects that we find it difficult to deny. And one is speed. And we see a lot of really fast-moving UFOs and UAPs, right? And the second is size. Something so big that it couldn't have been built on Earth. And this is, for example, 3i Atlas. Now, even if you're in the low vibration timeline and all you experience of 3i Atlas is this giant rock magically making its way through our solar system, it's okay, right? It's still opening up your conscious awareness to look to the sky. You might even try and, you might be looking at photos of it. You might have a telescope and try and see it yourself at some point. I don't know how close it comes into visible range. So you're increasing your awareness out to the solar system. And that's a great thing, because the more we look deeper into space outside of us, the more we're really looking deeper into ourselves. The more we're really asking ourselves, what would it mean if that was a ship? What would it mean to my life? How do I feel inside about beings beyond this earth? I did a recent song and meditation called Teeming with Life. This universe is teeming with life because it is. It's constantly surrounding us. And yes, there are beings already here on Earth. And there are many governments that have already made contact. It's just this mass contact is now, their disclosure is happening at a ground roots level. It's happening, just like all these orbs you see of me that I'm videoing at night using my Sonics Aurora Pro, that there's a lot of activity in our skies already. Like, this is already happening. And so we're being asked, Marita says, to get comfortable and used to this, the prospect, the potential of these beings and ships coming in and out of our awareness, our planet, and our existence, our solar system. Okay, any other messages? She's saying, I was asking why is she giving me a date? The dates just make me nervous. She says, pay attention to December the 21st. Now, isn't that the day after the predicted closest closest December? Let me just Google this. December 19th will be the closest approach to Earth. Okay, so it's, I love it says it will not pose a threat. This is Google's answer, Gemini's answer. Reaching distance of about 167 million miles from our planet. That's pretty close in space terms. So yeah, look out for December 21st. I'm not going to put that in my calendar, right? You guys tell me if my predictions are true. I'm not going to be the one that's bragging about it, or not yet. Marita says that there's something that happens. So this is because our collective consciousness, there's a lot of hype around throughout Atlas. Yes, some fear hype. We're also starting to see more of an evolution in science, where scientists are getting excited about, there's an increasing excitement in mainstream science about the prospect of life on other planets. It's seeming more and more credible, and it's grabbing the hearts of more scientists. Scientists are human too. So yeah, please pay attention to December 21st. And it seems that there's this, it's a all the consciousness and focus around the 19th is causing this kind of ripple effect in our conscious awareness of what's being perceived in our skies and across the solar system. So it's an opening of our hearts up to more magical experiences. How exciting. Okay, let me see if there's any questions. I've got a lot of questions from you. Let me see if there's any messages, any key messages, maybe one key message from Gaia or from other beings at this time. So Gaia is coming forwards and she's saying to me, you will see me breathe. You will see Gaia breathe. She says she's taking a moment. Yes, there's still some earthquake activity. Yes, there's continued solar activity. She says she's been running a bit of a marathon through August. And as we've come into September, she's starting to breathe more. And she says, so much of what I'm channeling is deeper beneath the earth, and it later comes to the surface. And she's saying, in fact, there's often a 3 or 4 day delay after I've posted a video before her internal dynamics have expressed themselves on the surface. And she says the breathing, I remember one of you was asking, I can't remember if it was a question or an email or a comment, but you're asking about, your specific location and heat. And she says, so with my breathing, I'm just opening up and releasing more. So it's releasing more steam, hot air. There's this venting of magma gases. And she says, please don't mistake this for, if you for instance saw me after a morning run, I'm a bit out of breath, right? I'm like, but it's not like I'm not building up to something. I'm actually, although I'm releasing more and I sound noisier, I'm actually calming. So she says, despite her noise, she's feeling calmer, and just asking how her connections are going with the sun, with Sol at the moment, and the moon, Luna. She says, good. She says she feels more stabilized. They're more in lockstep now, the sun and earth. She's showing this connection between the two, between the core of the sun and the core of her heart of Mother Gaia. And she's saying there's more of this strengthening of the connection between them. This is because they've been a lot of the recent solar activity has been helping bring the sun up to the same vibration as the earth. I'm the earth, I'm the sun. And so the sun has been coming up to match the frequency of the earth. And what's good about that is helping support our ascension more cleanly and more smoothly. Okay, good. Yeah, we could all do with that. Okay. And yep, that's the end of their messages. Let's go through a couple of your questions. So I can't kind of move my legs because my dog Patch is currently down here, standing between my legs, sleeping. So I can't quite reach my reverb button, but I will make the unreverbed beep boop sound. Beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep. Okay, so the first question, if I just click to open it, is from Carol Johnson Q7P. Thank you, Carol. She says, is there anything from your guides and ETs about Trump's health? Thank you. Okay, let me ask. So my beautiful spirit guide, Maya, as Earth Elemental, she's saying, let us all be mindful, first of all, including me. This is more of a message to me, not you, Carol, that we encouraging us to respect the privacy of health of every individual on the earth. And I'm still intrigued. I'm still asking. She says, yes, there's been significant events in his health, and she's drawing my attention back. So did one of you in a recent comment on a video to one of my earliest predictions, which was about his health and about something coming through at the end of August. And I think that was something like a brain aneurysm. And I must admit, I had to Google what that was afterwards. I wasn't really sure what that was. What she's saying is that the reason also she brought up the privacy of every individual's health is she says that there is a huge pressure on his health, and in that the public relations and the strength of the leader of the US is paramount in the supposed, the visual strength of the country, and also with these conversations that are going on with Russia, for example, not just one, not just Russia, but other countries. that at very least the appearance of health and strength is incredibly important. And it's really interesting. Maya says that there's this there's this pressure on him as well, that part of his soul contract, if you like, for taking on this role, and it's a destructive role. It's like really shaking up not just the country but the planet. Is that the deal that he took with his soul, if you like, for this incarnation, was that there would be a legacy, and there would be a legacy of something like peace. And we see this, right? He talks about this more public. I don't know if he uses those words, but we see him talking about, wanting to make a difference, whether you agree with that or not. And and it's funny because as I say that, my kind of heart is twitching, and my throat chakra is like it's almost like a burning sensation, and a burning sensation up to my chin. So many of us don't agree with the legacies that are being created, and at the same time, this is explaining that at all costs, health issues will be hidden and masked to achieve that part of his deal with his soul, which was come and take on this very difficult, challenging, very disruptive and destructive, chaotic role, and at the same time still be able to leave a legacy, whatever fashion that takes, whether it's some sort of peace deal or not. It might be the opposite. It might be more aggressive. Okay. And she said, she says, that's more than enough for now. She says, please do take care of every single living being across this earth. And it's very easy for us to separate and project out against anyone, any of us, in this world, and say that they're different to me and that I would never behave like that. And yet, I know from my past lives, I've taken on roles, lifetimes that are very dark, very vengeful, and have accrued a lot of karma and a karmic debt. And it took me a long time, several lifetimes, to pay that back off. And so we're all being asked to hold space for each other, because this is my other spirit guide, Emenshal, the Lyran, is saying, what demons hate the most is love. So if you can extend love to a demon, then you can really help diffuse situations, not fuel them. So never give a demon your fear, always give a demon your love and compassion. Wonderful. A lovely ending for that question. Thank you, Carol, for your question. And we've got time for one more. There's loads of lovely questions in here. Thank you so much. Let's do another look. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Okay, so this is, it's a question from Denise McMullen. Jon, is there any way you could have Tom T. Moore on your show sometime? I would love to hear more about the ET contact. Love and blessing always. Thank you. I did see your question. I did subscribe. I've not really checked out his videos. So I typically take quite a long time to develop connections with people before I collaborate in any way. So it's really because I'm really discerning about my energy for everyone, even big names, more popular people or YouTube channels. So I'll definitely take a look. So thank you so much for that. Okay, let's take one more. And if there's other people you feel that I just don't know, that you feel would be good for me to collaborate with, feel free to put in a comment or a question. It's fun to make friends and start that friendship journey. Thank you. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Okay. Here's a good question. So this is from Roland. You've got your email address, so I'll not read that out, but it says Roland Fontaine. And you said, how do I get in touch with your higher self? How to contact your deeper self? So first of all, I'm going to reword your question to, I don't think you want to get in touch with my higher self. You want to get in touch with your higher self, Roland. So I would say, first of all, a daily meditation practice. So you'll hear me say it time and time again. Please sign up for the Jon Binnie 14-day, it's free, the 14-day Spirit Guide Meditation Challenge. And it's you'll often see links in my descriptions, and it's on the homepage of my website, jonbinnie.com. And often right at the end of this video, I have a little link. It's the link to the Getting Started page that starts with the 14-day Spirit Guide Meditation Challenge. Why do I recommend meditation? And interestingly, meditation is not necessarily to find some beautiful Zen state where I live on the top of a mountain and everything is perfect in my life. I mean, it might feel like for some of the moments that I do meditate, it's not the objective though. The objective is really to just create space to receive in your life. So you're not like me blabbing away like this. Hi, I'm Jon Binnie. Hello. On a YouTube video all day or talking to people all day. I love talking, as you can tell. Meditation is a moment of creating calm and peace and safety. And when you allow yourself to open up your heart. So I imagine my heart opening up like a sunflower to the sun or rose petals. And in those moments of calmness, you can take a moment and set an objective, such as ask a question of your higher self or your guides. You might do that right now. You might say, higher self, what messages do you have for me at this time? And then say the answer out loud. Please write that answer in the comments. That would be really lovely. What answer did you get from your higher self? I got, please bring this video to an end, Jon. You've got lots of rest to do this morning on your morning off. So I will. And you asked about contacting your deeper self. I think that's a really lovely term. It's not a term I really hear often. You can look in a meditation, you can look more deeply within, ask yourself, who am I? What's going on inside my heart? Zoom into your heart and then zoom in deeper and deeper. Wherever you bring your conscious awareness to, wherever you focus yourself, that is where you begin to experience more of that. Because really, I love how modern science can sometimes refer to our consciousness as non-local consciousness, in that our consciousness is not fixed in our minds. It's not stuck in our heads. It's not stuck in here. Our consciousness freely moves. It resides in here during the day when we're being a human being and I'm wandering around and doing my human things. At nighttime, when the body's pretty quiet, our consciousness just goes off, right, into dream worlds. And so we can do whatever we want with our consciousness. We can take our consciousness wherever we wish. And also within a safe space, such as like I do at the start of these videos, and with my spirit guide meditations, in a safe space, you're much more likely to have a lot less noise from the outside world because of this protective bubble you've created. And then any answers you get are much more likely to be from the being that you asked and not some other being, hi, I'm your spirit guide. Trust me, honestly, I'm really good. It's not going to be some sort of low vibration entity just pretending to be who you're asking to speak to. The other really fascinating concept of the higher self is me, Jon Binnie, my perception of a higher self, my higher self, is that this higher self of me is the highest vibration version of me in this life. And that what happens is the more I raise my vibration, the closer I come to my higher self. So I must admit, the gap between my higher self and I now feels very, very small. It's been much smaller since I left my corporate job. It's been much smaller since, oh, good, Pat just moved, so I can move my legs freely. I can dance around. Yeah, so I feel much closer to my spirit guides and my higher self in particular. And with my higher self, I love doing things like just asking questions. Bring your higher self. You can do this with your spirit guides a bit later on, but start with your higher self and say, higher self, should I, go and do my motorhome DIY connecting up the propane next, or go for a 1 hour nap? Or you can ask your body that question. You can ask, should I invest £100 in a new AI service every month? Or should I, and by the way, that's not a real thing at the moment, although AI, John Chat AI was £150 a month, so I'm not running, that's why I'm not running him anymore. So, you can ask these questions. Sometimes they're just quite day-to-day stuff. Should I take a left or right in this forest path or this road? Just bring your higher self in. And sometimes people will use the phrase, what would my higher self do? And there's loads of different theories about the higher self, philosophies, even religions about the higher self. I encourage you to build a relationship, a friendship with your higher self. And if you wonder, my day-to-day higher self connection is, in my meditation, I say higher self, guides, higher self, and source. So spirit guides, higher self, and the source. What messages do you have for me at this time for the highest good, love, and compassion of all? And that's the message that I then receive. I say it out loud, and I create my Hi, it's Jon video, and after that, a song. Speaking of which, I'm going to get off and finish this video, just as my higher self said. So thank you so much for your question. Roland? Yeah, please do put your questions, submit them to my website. It's fantastic to receive these. And many of you have said you love the content that is created from the questions. So it's just a beautiful interaction. So thank you so much. Okay, I will bring this video to an end and this session, thanking our guides, our higher selves, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia, Sol and Luna, and every soul that's participated in today's session. Please remain in your individual protected bubble for as long as you choose and step outside of the shared session space as I close it down. Oops, as I hit my microphone. As I close down the session and return to Source or never return here again. Please get plenty of rest, drink as much water as it feels right for you. And I haven't been doing this quite as much, but perhaps you'd like to leave a little message at the end to show that you've reached the end of this video, and just a simple message of gratitude and say a few words, no more than a sentence, about what is it that you're most grateful for in your life at this time. So you might say, I am most grateful in my life at this time for my family, friends, my loved ones. Okay, thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Sending so much love. Bye. Goodbye.